Welcome back to this third lesson on occlusion for the dental team, where we're looking specifically at muscles. And as we finished the last lesson, we were talking about all the roles that the muscles play. And as you look at this slide right here, again, you can see that the muscles actually can work as a group together, and when they work in harmony, things go well. And again, when you look at these two photos here, you can see that the temporalis and the masseter pull the jaw up on the outside, and the medial temporalis pulls it up from the inside. All of these muscles are working in harmony together to bring the jaw up and the teeth together. Now, as we spoke earlier, the lateral pterygoid, however, its job is to bring the mandible forward, or to stabilize it when we come forward, or to help move the jaw from side to side. And so it again is in the opposite direction. As you can see, it's going horizontal, very different from the other three muscles. It's almost like 3 against 1, right? Or when you think about both sides, it's 6 against 2. And so when they're battling each other, sometimes it's a rough battle. And so how does that work in occlusion? So in normal closure, as you can see here, it's basically all 3 of those muscles saying, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and close together. So the temporalis and the masseter and the medial pterygoid raising the mandible, and the lateral pterygoid saying, that's okay because it's my time to relax. So I'll do nothing right now, and you guys bring the mandible up. And that's working in harmony together. When we come together, when you bring your teeth together and the teeth don't fit properly together, all of a sudden that's when we have some disharmony. Disharmony meaning that if the teeth don't fit together, the jaw is going to have to slightly slide either from one side to the other or even forward. And so when the teeth don't interdigitate or mesh together and the jaw moves forward, again, that's when the lateral pterygoid says, oh, we're moving forward. So that means that I have to fire a little bit to bring the jaw forward. And the other squeezer muscles that we talked about are saying, well, wait a minute, I can't squeeze all the way together because you're pulling me forward a little bit. And the tooth is in there saying, well, somebody better move, because if you squeeze together right now, I'm going to break a cusp. And again, you can see the role that these muscles play when there is an occlusal interference. So again, the squeezers don't get to finish squeezing, and the lateral pterygoid, the one that's running horizontally, decides it wants to squeeze, and they start fighting each other a little bit. And this is when we start having some muscles that either are going to be fatigued or sore or not working in harmony. One side's going to be different from the other side. Another term that you might hear is that one muscle antagonizes the other muscle. In other words, like you can see here, one muscle is going up while the other is going forward. So it's an antagonistic muscle. And when one muscle that is antagonistic of another is firing, that's when bad things happen. You want the antagonistic muscle to release when the other one is working. So you might hear some conversation about antagonizing muscles or antagonistic muscles. Similarly, when we discuss the digastric muscle, and again, that's sort of a jaw opening or stabilizing muscle, its direction is down, right, which is completely opposite of the masseter and temporalis and medial pterygoid, which is up. So you want to talk about direct antagonists, right? They're going in the completely opposite direction. And when they're not working in harmony together, again, something's going to be sore or something's going to have to stabilize, and we're going to be out of that zone of adaptability, basically. So let's again real quickly go back to that occlusal interference where the mandible does not want to shut all the way because the teeth aren't interdigitating properly. And our body is made to avoid painful stimulus. And that's when antagonistic muscles start to come into play. And that's when the digastric will say, no, I want to stay open, don't come together. And the other squeezer muscles are saying, but we're trying to come together right now. And they're fighting each other. So you've got some muscles that are going up and some that are going down. Now throw in a lateral pterygoid that's the same with that. And so it actually wants to go forward. So you've got one that's pulling it down, one that's pulling it forward, 3 that are pulling it up, and who wins the battle is different from everybody's system, but they're all antagonistic muscles working against each other. And I hope that makes sense for you to appreciate the system that is trying to work in harmony together and how complicated it can actually be. So in closing for this lesson, if we take a look at this photo here, where you can see if there's just a premature contact, right, of teeth, the deleterious effect that it can have on the muscles. Or vice versa, sometimes the muscles can have a poor effect on the teeth. So I hope from this lesson you can appreciate the relationship or the correlation between muscles and teeth, and how sometimes we don't really know which one comes first, but we certainly have an appreciation for how they could and should work together and what happens when they're not working together. And in this course in general then, we've looked at the 4 components of the masticatory system. We have looked at the muscles themselves. So just when we're doing the examination, where are the muscles in the head and neck, and just a little bit about what they do. And then finally, what we just discussed is what role the muscles themselves play in occlusion. I hope this course has been really, really helpful for you. I've had fun doing it, and I'll see you at the next course.